Hello. As you can see today, I'm making a little bit of a different video on this day, Hun Ish. And this whole process has been very interesting. Last night, on the day Oshlahu Ach, I was going to make my usual video for the next Trecena. But things happened, and then the rain came, and then it got dark, and I couldn't do it. And I received a very strong message that I needed to do it at a natural shrine, at a natural altar, at what is literally the representation of Hun Ish. And as you can see, I've just been making my ceremony. I've come to a point in this moment where this is a point which is usually where we share with the rest of the circle that are in the ceremony. Now, obviously I'm up here on my own. Well, I have two of my dogs with me, because Ish is also about working with animals, right? And I thought that while the fire continues to burn, that this would be a good time to share as we normally would when we're around the fire. So this is what I want to bring to you today, something different. I don't usually like to, kind of be wearing my tzut when I'm making these videos, but because the fire is burning out of respect to the fire, this is why I choose to wear this today, because effectively, theoretically, I'm still in ceremony, I'm still in that ceremonial space. And once we finish this consejo, then I'll close the directions and end the ceremony. But as the fire still burns, I think it's time for a little chat about the Trecena of Ix. So the Trecena of Ix, the Nawal of the sacred spaces, of the shrines and the altars, the Nawal of Mother Earth, the natural places, the natural world. Ish, the Nawal of the feminine essence, the feminine spirit. And for me, this cave itself is a very, very, very feminine place. I feel like this is the ear of Mother Earth. This is where we go and make our petition to her, where we go and make our prayers to ask her for what we need in life, where we can make our actions. Now, the other thing about Ish is that we have to balance this. We are given these opportunities to make our prayers, and we also have to make a payment back to Mother Earth. And when I came up here today, there was trash around this shrine. And it happens, not everybody who comes up here has the same idea about the world. And there's lots of cigarette butts, because they're used by some people in ceremony. But they're just trash. That's not the tobacco part, that's just the butt. And there's bottles and things. And so I thought it would be a nice idea to actually clean up the shrine, to renovate the shrine, because it's one Ish, right? It's Hun Ish. This is about the renovation of the shrines, the renovation of magic, the renovation of our connection to the sacred and our connection to the divine feminine. These are all themes that we can see throughout the Trecena of Ix. And as I was thinking about the Trecenas yesterday, I was thinking about this pattern that they weave, how we start off with Imosh, which I see as like the egg, almost like the feminine principle. And then that evolves into Ish, which we could see as the spirit of Mother Earth, which is going to then evolve into the Kech Trecena, which is the natural world. And so we can see kind of like this evolutionary progression through the Trecenas. This is why I think it's so important to have a look at them. Because it's almost as if we imagine that each of the Nawalas is notes in the song, each of the Trecenas is an arrangement of 13 notes that brings different parts of the song, different phrases, different verses. And so maybe that's the way we could look at it. It came to me yesterday about it being like music. And we've got chorus, verse, we've got movement one or act one or whatever it might be in the overture. And whilst we might be using the same notes, we could say A through to G or whatever, we are also arranging them in different ways, arranging them in different methods, whether they're going Imosh, Ik, Akabal, Kan, or whether they're going Imosh, Ish, Kech, Achpu, Ach. and so on, as they would in the Trecena progression. And so the music will vary depending on the way that you arrange the notes. The same notes arranged differently bring out a different song, different beauty. So I hope that's not getting too poetic on you, but I thought it was interesting to look at it like that. So we're going to begin the Trecena of Ix with the day Hun Ix, and here I am making my offering at this natural shrine, this natural altar, up in the hill behind my house. Reconnecting with Mother Nature, reconnecting with Mother Earth, reconnecting with the natural world. The potential for connection, the potential, the renovation of the shrines, and the renovation of our connection to them. Hun Ix is a great day for doing this, of course, for renewing your connection to Mother Earth. It's a great day to go out and start some new project, a great day for cleaning your shrine, as it were, for renovating it and building new shrines even. And a great day for the renewal of your own magical presence, because Ish, our connection to Mother Earth, the one who helps us to give prayers, to give our offerings at the shrines and the altars, she's the one who feeds us. And when we make our offerings, when we make our prayers, Ish is the one who guides us and brings it back to us. So it's also a day to give thanks to Mother Earth, and we can give thanks to Mother Earth for everything that we do. We can give thanks for our actions. We can give thanks by cleaning up a sacred space, by recognizing the sacred space all around us and the sacred space within us. Maybe this is another thing, to begin to recognize once more the sacred all around you and the sacred within you. To Tzikin. Tzikin, the Nawal of the bird, of the eagle, the one who flies high and sees all, the one who brings us the vision of prosperity, the vision of the future. Tzikin, who helps us to thrive by understanding what brings everything into balance, by seeing the consequences. You know, they say that, like, one of the things about humans is the mirrors of our perception were smoked, and we were no longer able to see the consequences of our actions. But Tzikin is the one before the smoking mirror, the one before Achmach, when everything is still viewed clearly. It can see the future, it can see the consequences. And here we have it with the number 2, and so the number 2 can be very black and white in its nature, right? Very dualistic. It can see, right, okay, we take that path or we take that path. Which path are we taking? And it can see very, very clearly the difference between the two paths, the differences that they might bring. Now that might be very, very useful, but it could be useful for another reason, and that other reason may well be because it has the ability to see both sides. Now, Tzikin is often seen as a mediator type energy, and when you can see both sides, this can help us to thrive by seeing the truth maybe in each side, seeing the reason for the sides existing. And so it's a great day for mediation as well. Mediation that allows all to thrive. Tzikin is a day for the vision, to ask for your vision to be cleared. And with the 2 energy, maybe you kind of like feel that you would like to bring your vision out of the darkness and into the light. And 2 Tzikin may be the day to switch your perspective to the other perspective, so you can see more clearly. 3 Achmach is about, for me, about inner forgiveness. Achmach is about acceptance of being human. I was saying how Tzikin sees clearly, and Achmach is the smoked mirror of our perceptions. That's what being human is all about not really necessarily being able to see the consequences of our actions, and so sometimes we don't exactly get things right. And then we hang on to it, right? You know, sometimes we're hanging on to things for way longer than we should. And often we can forgive that person, or we can ask for forgiveness from that person or that organization or whatever it might be. But the one that's really difficult is the forgiveness of self. 3 Achmach is all about that. It's about going inside to look for forgiveness. About going inside and saying, look, it happened. Everybody else is getting on with it. Maybe I should forgive myself. Then I can move forward as well. Because, in this Trecena, representing our connection to Mother Earth and representing our connection to our magic, we could also see it as kind of like you stifle your magic by carrying the burden of guilt, the burden of blame, the burden of shame. So 3 Achmach gives you the opportunity to go inside, look at it, and forgive yourself for whatever you might need to, so that you can truly connect once again with your magic. From 3 Achmach, we're then going into 4 Noach. So Noach representing the mind, the brain. Noach representing thought, intellect and intelligence. Noach, the one who solves the problems. Now here we have it with the number 4. And the number 4 can be very, very material in its world. Can be very, very down to earth in its world. And it's a great foundation, So I use words like material or whatever, and it's not meant in any way apart from that which is, and all this material, this physical substance, these rocks that I'm sitting on, holding me tight, I need this foundation to sit on it. Okay, so, it's not like it's a bad thing, but it can be very, very grounded. I see 4 Noch as putting down the plan, putting down the foundation for the plan, bringing the plan, the idea, into a strongly grounded, down-to-earth foundation. Now, we build on the foundation, right? We don't just say, oh, the foundation's built, that is done. We need to move further on from the foundation. But we have to get it down there in the first place. And that's what 4 Noch is all about. It's about taking your idea and starting to build something onto which you continue, because the 4 for me is a development point that needs to go on from where it is. It's not the finished thing. It's just the foundation, just the beginning. So this is kind of like, right, okay, you've got an idea, you've got a plan, you've been going through your knowledge. Let's put it into something physical, tangible. Bring it down to earth, ground it. Make it real. Tihash, the obsidian blade. 5 Tihash, Chob Tihash. The obsidian blade that helps us to heal, helps us to cut stuff away. Tihash is sharp. Surgery can be painful, but surgery is also often necessary. It's what begins the healing process. It helps us to cut away that which we don't need so that we can heal. We can't heal if the wound is still infected or diseased, or if the foreign body is still within us. We have to get that foreign body out before we can start healing. This day, 5 Tihash, Chob Tihash, gives us the opportunity to put our work, our effort into that healing, into that surgery. It's about putting our energy into discernment. We're talking about a Trecena, where we're reconnecting with our magic and reconnecting with the sacred spaces and reconnecting with the shrines. And if we don't put our energy into our discernment, well, we may lose our way somewhat. So it's a great day to actually put some effort into it and put some effort into cutting away what you don't need. Now, when you got the 5, you always think it's going to need a bit of extra energy into there. And sometimes, you can kind of think about it. Maybe, I wouldn't necessarily say the knife is blunt, but, you kind of like sometimes you have to put a little bit of effort into sort of like really cutting your way through something. So it gives you the opportunity to cut yourself free of what's stifling your magic or stifling your connection to Mother Earth, what's stifling your connection to your own magical self or to the sacred within. But it's really suggesting that there's going to be like a need for work on it, a need of like adding a bit of extra energy to really cut through so that you can let yourself let go of it, so you can heal from it. Kawok, the female essence of healing. Kawok, the one who helps us move forward in life. The rain which nourishes us. We're coming to this end of rainy season now. We're coming to this point in time where dry season comes in, we can harvest the maize. Everywhere is beautiful and lush and green here right now, from all the rains that we've had for the last 6 months. As we go into dry season, we give thanks for the birth that's had. Now, we see Kawok here with the number 6, and the number 6 represents the ultimate stability. I see it as the evolution of the 4, because it's then including the above and below into it. And so 6 Kawok is kind of like, it's about birthing something into the physical plane through the connection to the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And so this is a wonderful day to get things moving. This is a wonderful day to wash away your obstacles, because it's just the right amount of power, just the right amount of energy to make things happen, to make the birth happen, to make the healing happen, without overdoing it, without washing away with the flood. So 6 Kawok can also be about family healing. If you're into family constellations, 6 Kawok would be a great day to do one. The healing of family, compassionate healing of family, is a very strong theme on 6 Kawok. From 6 Kawok, we then go into 7 Achpu. Achpu, the Nawal of the sun. Achpu, the Nawal of the divine. Achpu, the Nawal of our spiritual path, of our ability to see the divine, of our connection to the ancestors in some ways, also our connection to the divine in our own divine path. That's what our connection to the shrines helps to open for us, right? 7 Achpu, in 7 Achpu we see him in the Popol Vuh, the old sun. It's the finishing of the process. This path, this new connection to the shrines, finishes also one level. And 7 Achpu is saying, right, okay, this is kind of like the end of one part of your spiritual path as a new one begins. 7 Achpu can also be like the sun sitting on top of the pyramid. And it's from the top of the pyramid that we make our choices. And it's saying to you, choose your path, choose your spiritual path. On 7 Achpu, you may find that all sorts of things are presented to you as to where you might go next on your spiritual path, as to what aspect of yourself you want to explore. 7 Achpu is a day to choose, to be guided, to make decisions. From 7 Achpu, we then go into 8 Imosh. 8 Imosh, the celebration of the water. 8 Imosh, the celebration of the great lake, the great ocean. 8 Imosh, celebration of our dreams, a ceremony which celebrates the connectedness that we all have. So 8 Imosh is a great day to make ceremony for water, a ceremony for our lake, a ceremony for our oceans. Let's face it, I know that they need more than ceremony. I know that they need protection from nations and governments and all of those kind of things as well. We've all got to start. We've all got to do our bit. And so maybe that's a part of ceremony as well, to actually take action about it. But on 8 Imosh, this is certainly a day to give thanks for the water and thanks for the dreams. 8 Imosh, a day to make your ceremony on behalf of nature, the natural world that lives below the water. 8 Imosh, a day to understand the whole of the collective, because Imosh can connect us with our collective consciousness, and if the 8 represents the whole, then we see the whole collective consciousness connected. Might be a day when you might feel a bit overwhelmed by what else is going on in the world as well, but if you can get by water, if you can get by the ocean, 8 Imosh is a great day to make a ceremony for that ocean. From 8 Imosh, we then go into 9 Ix. So this is a very interesting day, because this 9 Ix is the Cargador del Año this year, the Mam, the year bearer, sometimes called. And so it's been 260 days since the Mayan New Year began, and the theme of this new year, the voice of the women, 9 Ik, life changes as well, the life changes that come like the wind. So part of it, I feel, is like a review day, you know, since 9 Ik came around last time in the Gregorian calendar, it would be 19th of February. How has your life changed? Have the voices of the women been heard? The voice of the feminine being heard? With 9 Ik, you know, how has your life changed in the last 260 days? Has it been a strong change that's come in? All of these things you might like to ask for. It's also a great day to light a candle, to make a ceremony, to give thanks for your life breath. Something which, I guess, after the last 18 months or so, we're all very grateful for right now, the ability to breathe. Now, one of the things that interests me is looking at the astronomical dates of particular festivals. Because for me, this is really what adjusting to systems of time is all about. We don't do something because it's a Friday or because it's a particular date in the Gregorian calendar. We do something because it's full moon or new moon, or because it's solstice or equinox. And the day, Samhain, in the Celtic calendar, now it's often attributed to sort of 1st of November or something like that, or Halloween or those kind of things. And we're putting our energy into making ceremonies on those days, or some people are, because of what they believe that they're putting their energy into. But I think it's really important to understand that there are true dates for it based on the position of the sun. And as we move from between 9 Ik and Tenakabal, this is really the point of Samhain. And so if you are making this type of ceremony for those type of events, then maybe you like to consider that between those 2 days, that's astronomically where Samhain fits, rather than the 1st of November, which is, you know, obviously from the Gregorian calendar, which most people are trying to get away from. So just a little bit of extra info about something which is not really Mayan calendar related, but I thought you might enjoy hearing it. From 9 Ik, we're then going into 10 Akabal. So Akabal, the journey from darkness into the light, the twilight. Akabal, the one who brings the sun to the day, who brings a new concept to the world. Akabal, the revelation. You know, it's kind of interesting. I said that Samhain kind of falls on 10 Akabal. Here it falls on 10 Akabal, because it's sort of just after midnight or something like that, you know. And so we see these kind of things. We see that the way that they work. And of course, Samhain being the veil between the worlds, and Akabal also kind of representing the veil between the worlds. And so 10 Akabal, the number 10, seeing this, you know, this is kind of like helping each other, making agreements, connecting society. And so 10 Akabal can be very much seen as like stretching out your hand to help somebody out of the darkness or into the light, or maybe stretching out your own hand to get yourself out of the darkness and into the light, however it might be. You know, if you're not feeling in a particularly good space or something like that, maybe you need a bit of a hand, and maybe your community can help you, or maybe you can be of assistance to somebody in your community who's kind of a bit lost in the darkness right now, something like that. 10 Akabal is a great day to do that and to introduce new concepts into your community. And then from 10 Akabal we'll go into 11 Kat. So Kat, the net. Kat, the one who gathers, the one who holds all of our abundance. Kat, the one who also holds us, you know, our attachments and that. And here with the number 11, now it's kind of an interesting combination really, because the 11 is kind of going all over the place, but cat is kind of restraining it from doing that. And so there might be some kind of like resistance to really following kind of like this 11 nature, which actually could become a good balance. But it's also kind of like gives us the opportunity to search in many areas for our attachments. You know, cat days give us an opportunity to liberate ourselves from that which binds us, from that which holds us back. And as we see that, as we work with that energy, sometimes we've got to go into some different places. As I always say about the 11, it's like you don't get creativity by following the same road again. You've got to go and follow some different roads, some unusual random turns, as it were. That's where your creativity lies. And so with 11 cat, it could also be kind of like the idea that you've got to go and search some corners that you never normally search to find the attachments which might be holding you back from your connection to the shrines, to Mother Earth, or the connections to your magic. From 11 cat, we're then going into 12 can. So can, the Nawal of power and wisdom, the Nawal of the serpent, the Nawal of teachers. Can, the Nawal of illusions and seductions as well, the Nawal of our life force energy. Now, it's kind of interesting when you combine it with the 12, because the 12, all of our life experiences, and the can energy really kind of like being about teaching as well. And seeing it as teaching our life experiences in order to empower our community, in order to empower those around us. So that's what teachers do. They share their experience in order to empower others, right? That's what teachers, I feel, should do anyway. But we can also see it as using our life experience to see through illusions. So maybe there's some illusions in your life, or maybe there's some illusions around you right now. And number 12 says, right, okay, where have you seen something like this before? In your life's journey, in your life's path, as you've travelled the world or the life or whatever it might be, you've seen this pattern before, right? You've seen the part of this illusion before. What you learnt last time, can that help you to overcome it this time? Can you use the energy that you carry to bring you the wisdom to see through that illusion? Well, if it's there, the number 12 suggests that it's something that you've already got in your experience. And so this is kind of like what you might need today. If you kind of like feel like something's an illusion, what part of your life experience can help you to see through it? What part of your life experience can bring you the wisdom to overcome it? And then finally, we move to the day 13 Kame. 13 Kame. Now, interestingly enough, one of the things that I would say about 13 Kame is that if there was a day in the calendar that would be like an equivalent of the Day of the Dead or Samhain or something like that, then 13 Kame must be it. I mean, you have the Nawal of death, the Nawal of the ancestors, combined with the number that represents spirit and the ancestors. So, I mean, 13 Kame is pretty much a prime candidate for one of those days when the veil is at its thinnest. And it's really interesting. I mean, it doesn't align, obviously, with what is being celebrated as Day of the Dead. It doesn't align with Samhain quite. It's a few days late for that, but it's rather close, isn't it? I think that's kind of interesting this year. 13 Kame, if you ever needed to visit a medium or anything like that, then 13 Kame is the day to do it. It's the day when the veils are very thin, and you might actually even feel that you don't need to visit a medium because the ancestors are speaking through you or speaking to you very easily on that day. 13 Kame. Now, Kame is about our transformation. It's a transformation that comes through facing our fears. And they might be great fears. These fears that we need the strength and the power of our ancestors to overcome. This is a great day to get in touch with your ancestors to help you to get through those fears, to feel your spirit ancestors walking beside you as you face those fears head on. Because once again, if we look at it from the point of view of the Ix Trecena being about reconnecting with our magic, being about reconnecting with the shrines and the altars, well, we can't connect with our magic if we're full of fear, can we? We've got to overcome it so that everything can flow. 13 Kame gives us the opportunity to do that. Gives us the opportunity to face what might be our greatest fear as well. You know, the 13 being one of those strongest numbers. It's like gives us the power of our ancestors, or the connection with our ancestors, that helps us to overcome our greatest fear. This could be a really, really transformative day if we choose to embrace it. A really transformative day if we choose to go into those fears, to accept the guidance, the help of our ancestors, and move into it. And 13 Kame could be one of the most transformative days of all. So, it's been a bit different, this one, right? I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it's helped to guide you through the Trecena of Ix. And I look forward to seeing you again in 13 days' time. Thank you.